So this is the Shading the Basic Shapes video for Computer Art 1, and we're going to start with a sphere. So basically I start with my worksheet. I have made a new layer, so I'm not actually working on the bottom background layer. I'm going to use the hard round brush, and I'm going to change the flow to about 50%. I always start with the darkest value, which is basically the cast shadow, the black. Then I'm going to start with the next value that's a little bit lighter and shade in the direction of the shape. Put in a little bit of that core of a shadow. And you'll notice here that I'm doing a bit of banding. Banding's sort of bad until you come back and sort of blend it together. So I'm using that middle tone now to fill in some of it. Using that lighter tone. And then finally the white to create the highlight. Then I'll change to my mixer brush, make my brush a little bit bigger, and then do some blending. This is almost like taking your finger with charcoal and sort of blending it together. I'll come back and fix the shadow. And then I come back with my eraser and I get rid of anything that's outside the lines or anything that I don't like. And I notice that I'm using now my color mixing brush to pull a little bit of that dark up onto the side of the sphere. And you can do that with the mixing brush. Again, remember I'm on layer 1, so I'm never working on the background layer. Do some quick color mixing, just blending together. Come back and erase a few things that I don't like. And there you have it. It's the sphere. Next is the cone. The cone is particularly a little bit different because it's basically dark at the edges, light in the middle. And so again, I start with the darkest shadow. And I then sort of fill it in with a base color. And start lightening the center. Remember, the light is again coming from the top left. So you notice here that I have taken my darkest area, and now I'm using my mixer brush over the top and sort of dragging that darks and those lights in areas where I need them. And then I'm going to come back and erase. I actually used my shift to sort of get that nice clean edge. And that was the cone. Now onto the cube. The cube is definitely different. It's basically a series of planes. So the cast shadow is going to be the darkest. The next value is going to be the side away from the light. The next value is going to be the front of the box. The lightest of the gray values is going to be the top of the box. And then you'll put your highlight in the upper left corner. On the cube, I like to use the shift and the click on the brush tool and the eraser tool to make a nice clean line. And I happen to go over the top of some of this, so I'm just going back and I'm just fixing it just a little bit with some lines that are just straight lines. I'm doing a little bit of checking on the perspective here because I went a little bit outside the lines. And now onto the cylinder. The cylinder is very similar to the cone. Again, we're going to make the shadow the darkest black. The next value will go to the outside. Again, dark at the edges, light in the middle. Next value will go next to that. And you'll notice that, again, there's banding here. The second to the lightest would be near to the center, and then the lightest or the white area would be on the top. Again, I'm using my color mixing brush to do a bit of blending. And you'll notice with the color mixing brush, wherever you start, that's the main color that's going to drag towards or away from something. And now I'm just going back and cleaning it up. And that's it. All four of the basic shapes.